Good Monday morning of the 34th week. It's actually the last week in ordinary time. Then we go into Advent. So I'm going to follow St. Luke's Gospel. It's continuing all the way through. Okay, so the Book of Revelation is the first reading, but I have to tell you something. That's way over my abilities. That's a very, very difficult book. But Luke seems to tell a straight story. So anyway, I'm going to stay with Luke, okay? So it's Chapter 21, 1 through 4, verses 1 through 4. It's where he says, when Jesus looked up, he saw some wealthy people putting their offerings into the treasury. And he noticed a poor widow putting in 2 small coins. He said, I tell you truly that this poor widow put in more than all the rest. Those others have all made offerings from their surplus wealth. Okay. But she, from her poverty, has offered her whole livelihood. It's a powerful line, isn't it? You know, what it reminded me of, whatever this is worth to you, back when I was a novice in 1961-62 in Pittsburgh. I remember the novice master made an observation. So we would see, well, 2 things. We had our St. Paul of the Cross church, which wasn't a parish, but it was a church that people came to on Sundays, etc. Okay, but it wasn't a strict parish. And their contributions, at the time, I would say, I don't know, I wasn't there to count it, but the reality is those contributions, along with the free will offerings that came in through the front door, are what sustained us. That's the truth. That's what the novice master father, Gregory Flynn, told us, that we live and we flourish because of the generosity precisely of the poor. That was his point. The people come and they contribute, and it's those very small, heartfelt, and generous, but small contributions, not a dollar here and a dollar there. Those were the dollars that put food on our table in the monastery. And they made sure we knew it, the monks. They made sure we were students, we were novices, just getting started. I was 20 years old, 21, long time ago, 62 years ago. And they began to realize how we not only survived, but actually flourished because of the generosity of the poor. It was a hallmark, I think, of Passionist spirituality, is this text, the recognition that it is the generosity of the poor that provide a way of life for us as monks. You know, and I think that is so true. The church has flourished through the generosity of the poor. Grant you, we have huge donations. Wealthy people have made huge donations and it's wills, but it's the everyday contributions of the average person that has sustained the life of the order and the life of the diocese and parishes. It is just simply true. Without the little guy, we wouldn't be around. And I'll tell you, at least in the order, we were made very aware of that. Very, very aware of it. And I'm grateful for that. Because we lacked for nothing, because people with very little gave us a lot. They gave us a lot. And it's simply the truth. One of the things that was very, very prominent in Pittsburgh, not anywhere else, but in Pittsburgh, we had these Monday devotions, went all day long, from 7 in the morning, maybe even earlier, all the way till 7 or 8 o'clock at night. Did one devotion. They were novenas. And the generosity of the people that came, they weren't parishioners, they weren't local, they came from all over Pittsburgh. That was a huge source of revenue for us, in the sense these were people putting in nickels and dimes and dollars and cents. And it was a huge source of our own sustenance. Not wealth, sustenance. And I think that one of the things in the order that was so paramount to me and so clear, how we do thrive on, as an order, the generosity of the poor, just as you got in the text here, the poor widow. The poor widow. And you know, in our monasteries and our monastery churches, who do you think is sitting out there? Very often, it's the poor widow. Women in their late 70s and 80s who are widows, who are the faithful members and who are putting in their contributions, their small ones, their big ones, whatever it may be. You know, monasteries had a way, and monastery churches had a way of drawing people from all over. And in our cases, especially in Pittsburgh, which really stands out to me, I guess I was so open and so in a formative period of my life that, especially in Pittsburgh, as I saw how our monasteries were supported by the widows and the widowers, by the poor, who gave us from their poverty, gave us to live on. And I have to say, our novice master especially, Father Gregory Flynn, made it clear to us that we live on the generosity of the poor. He was very, very sharp on that. Nobody owed us a living. Nobody owed us anything. And yet the generosity was overwhelming. That's the truth. I'm grateful for those years because it was so clear to me. It became clear to me how our order, how our community flourished because of the people who loved us and sacrificed for us. And that's the truth. That is the truth. I think it's probably true of many religious orders. I hope it's true of the diocesan parishes. I hope it's true of St. Mark's, St. Tim's, St. Mark's. I saw it there too, very much so. Where I saw it at St. Timothy's, especially when I got there in 71, was the generosity of the time committed by the women and the men of the parish to sustain the parish by their acts of charity and their organizational skills. God, that place was so organized by the laity themselves. And who would have fish fries and have these things and that and festivities and all these things. And, you had to be there. It was exciting. And it was all lay-led. And it generated a tremendous amount of income that supported the parish school. That's the truth. That school would have closed in a heartbeat if it hadn't been for the generosity of these people. Not only what they put out of their own pocket, but the way they aggressively went and fostered events that made significant income for the parish. You had to be there. And I think I'm a good witness to it because I had a very low opinion of parish life, being honest about it. I was an arrogant monk, conceited and arrogant. And what I saw was the life of the faith and the generosity of the parishioners, the members of the parish, and how they contributed. I had a tremendous conversional experience when I first came to St. Mark's, then St. Tim's, because I saw how the laity were the foundation of the parish, not only economically, but socially. I saw it. I saw it at the dances. I saw it at the parties. I saw it on the ball fields. When fathers and uncles and cousins were out there coaching kids. Some of the women's sports were so fabulous. You had to see it. Sometimes what I'd do is look out the window from the room I was in, and I could see the parking lot, and I'd see the kids playing soccer. That's the truth. Yeah. I realized this is the life of the parish. And it worked there because of the commitment of the lay men and women to supporting everything about the parish, from wealth to time. It still is, in my view. But I have to say, I came fresh to St. Tim's with a very negative view, if there is anything at all, about parish life and the parochial ministry. And when in short order, I realized this is the life of the faith. This is the life of the faith. That's the truth.